Wait for it. Wait for it, and we're live. Hey, all you crazy sci-fi and fantasy fans. It's time for your daily dose of shenanigans over here at the Blasters and Blades podcast. Just a couple of nerdy veterans, a stabby chaos coordinator, and one chief shenanigator geeking out over our science fiction passions and fantastical fantasies. A place where magic is king, the sky is the limit, and space is the place. We are the podcast that puts the fun in dysfunction. So without further ado, we're going to do our proof of life evidence. We've got Nick on the show. He is hiding from his boss. So if a black helicopter lands in his yard and he just gets yeeted out that window behind him, he tried. It's not his fault. But officially, he has the flu. Cough once, so we know you're sick.
Oh.
There you go. See, boss man, he's sick. All right. With that out of the way, Pedro, I'm not even going to try to pronounce your last name, otherwise known as Stat Monkey. Do you want to introduce yourself to our listeners and viewers at home?
Hi, everybody. I'm Pedro Barrenechea. I'm lead rules developer for Parrot. Yeah, it's. I'll tell you about the last name in a second. I'm the lead rules developer for Paradigm Concepts. I've been with Paradigm Concepts for 22 years now. Been playing RPGs since the age of 9. When I got adopted by a bunch of high schoolers who wanted to drag me along in their D&D campaign. So I've been at this for a while.
Let's be honest, they needed a healer, didn't they?
No, actually, I ended up playing a thief who was a street rat that they adopted.
So you were playing yourself. Well, minus the
yes,
thief, right?
Yeah, I was playing like me. It was so much fun. It completely enwrapped me. And the reason, so I always had problems reading because I'm dyslexic and have ADHD. So I had a teacher that made it her job to find something I would read. So every week she would give me a different book. And I didn't like it. And then she gave me The Hobbit. I devoured The Hobbit in a weekend, walked back in, put it on her table and said, I want to read more. So these kids saw me at the park reading The Lord of the Rings. And they were like, you read those? I'm like, these books are awesome. And they're like, do you want to play Dungeons and Dragons? I'm like, what the hell is Dungeons and Dragons? And this was in the middle of the satanic panic stuff. So it was fun trying to explain it to my parents. But yeah, after they saw us playing, they're like, you guys are just rolling dice and screaming at each other. Yeah, that's fine.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's like we're not worshiping Satan. We're doing D&D.
Exactly.
I mean, maybe you slay a few of his friends, but
Yeah, bro, come on. So yeah, I'm by day, I'm an engineer. I do a little bit of everything, electrical, mechanical, and plumbing. And at night, I'm a game rules developer, and that's me.
Nice.
Did you plan on? Like, at what point in time did you decide playing is so much fun? I want to make my own games with my own rules.
So, during second edition, toward the end of second edition, they came out with a set of books called Skills and Powers, which I completely loved. And I remember looking at it and going, I could make this better. So I started writing all my own home rules for it. It ended up being like a 120-page document. I ended up running like a 2-year campaign with it. And then somehow I stumbled into being a third edition playtester. To this day, I still don't know how it happened. I was at Gen Con, and before I know it, somebody emailed me. I don't remember who I gave my email to. And they were like, do you want to playtest? And I was like, of course. So I playtested third edition. I knew third edition really well. My friend Henry and his friends were starting a gaming company right when the license came out for third edition, the OGL. And they were like, you know the system really well. Could you help us write stuff for it? And I'm like, yeah, I've been GMing forever. I could write monster stats. I could do all that. And that turned into writing rules and prestige classes. And I just went from there.
Have you seen the news coming out of Wizards of the Coast lately? Looks like they're trying to get back to their roots and actually stop being a political engine with a game behind it. And
I know.
Game again. I'm hopeful.
Yeah. You know what scares me though? That there's people that want to make it a live service game.
According to the new guide, they're walking that back.
Yes.
Some of the people that got involved.
That makes me so happy.
Some of the people that got involved are people that I met because I wrote with James Ward. And so some of the people I met through him are involved, and if they say it's good to go, I trust them. Yes. So I am hopeful that they're going to turn this ship around because
that's cool.
I like other systems too, and it's fun to explore the other systems. But I also like the idea that the OG flagship is still doing its thing.
It is the most popular role-playing game in the world, and it is the gateway to other games.
Yes.
It is how people get introduced to role-playing, which is funny because I made a lot of my choices with the new edition of Rotted Capes with that in mind. But it is the gatekeeper for the hobby, and if Dungeons and Dragons implodes, I don't know how well the hobby will survive. Though I do have a theory about the future of the hobby. I might as well say it. I have a feeling that because of AI, people are going to start really wanting more of a human interaction, and board games and role-playing games are going to explode in popularity. So is, and this is going to be crazy. I think the theater is going to make a huge comeback. People going to see people live doing things on a stage because everything's going to end up being AI slop.
Yeah.
It is not an unreasoned opinion. I hadn't considered theater.
I think anything like comedy shows, anything like that there's a human interaction, I have a feeling is just going to start exploding in popularity because people are going to be sick of AI slop.
Now, there were companies for a while pushing where we're going to have AI DMs for you.
Dude, yeah, I saw that, and it didn't go well. Dude, I because I'm an engineer, I do like playing around with AI. Like, dude, I have an AI model in my personal PC that I play around with because I use it to help me track my meetings and stuff because my ADHD is ridiculous. And without somebody or something constantly reminding me, hey, Pete, you have a podcast at 9:00, I'll literally forget everything. But, yeah, dude, there's a certain touch to role-playing that I don't think AI will ever be able to catch up on because AI thinks too generically about stories. Like you ask AI for a bunch of story ideas, you might get good story ideas. But as soon as you tell it, hey, flesh that out for me, it's crap.
Yeah.
I believe you. So, okay. I hope that this comes out well. I'm encouraged. But before we dive too deep, we do have to do the religion questions. And Nick does have his finger on the eject button. So are you ready for this?
Yes, go.
All right. Star Wars, Star Trek, or Firefly?
Does that answer your question?
For those listening, he has a Yoda t-shirt on.
I have a Yoda shirt that says "Size matters not."
Nick, you see all his helmets?
One of my core, I saw that, dude. Your collection's awesome. One of my core memories of being a little kid, is going to see Star Wars with my grandfather.
Nice.
We went to go see it first in English, and then because he didn't understand it all, we went to go see it in Spanish. We're in Miami, so there was a theater playing it in Spanish.
That's awesome.
So I still remember going with my grandfather to watch Star Wars, and he was hooked. He literally didn't stop talking about it at the house for like 3 weeks. But my grandfather was fucking awesome. Like way back in the day, they used to do these Star Trek marathons. of the old Star Trek, and me and my grandfather would literally sit down on the couch and watch it all day.
Nice.
Yeah, like I love like sci-fi. My love of sci-fi came from my grandfather for sure. Now, you do have Firefly in there. I am a little bit of a brown coat.
As one should be.
Because, bro, that show, and when I heard about the animated series, dude, I was so happy. So, yeah.
Did
I'm looking forward
your
to it.
grandfather get to live long enough to see your company producing content? No. That would have been cool for him, I'm sure.
It would have been. It would have been.
I'm sure wherever the next life is, he's watching, rolling dice with you.
Oh, yeah, for sure, dude. For sure. But, yeah, my grandfather, unfortunately, he had liver problems, and he didn't make it past my 12th birthday.
Oh, that's rough. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But it's cool that he passed that on, and it's, still around with you, right? All those years later.
Yep.
All those many, many years. And we don't want to think about how long that's been. So instead, I'm going to say, because we're polytheistic here at the Blasters and Blades podcast, Game of Thrones, The Wheel of Time, or Chronicles of Narnia.
Game of Thrones. The novels. Because it was the first time I read a novel where I felt none of the characters were safe.
Mm-hmm.
I still remember when I read The Red Wedding, I threw my novel across the room.
That's valid.
I was so angry, and I almost stopped reading the series. If it wasn't for all my friends on Facebook being like, dude, no, you got to keep reading, I would have stopped. But yeah, dude, I love Game of Thrones because it's so... It was unexpected. I liked how grimdark it was in some ways. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. Don't get me wrong. I read Chronicles. I read Wheel of Time. I loved Wheel of Time. But the fact that it was never finished by the original writer breaks my heart.
Yeah, he passed away too soon.
Yeah,
and
it breaks my heart. Now, because you don't have it on there, I'm going to mention the one series that still has my heart broken. The Kingkiller Chronicles.
Okay, go on.
You guys haven't read the Kingkiller Chronicles?
I have not. Nick might have.
Oh, dear God. Bro, both of you need to read the Kingkiller Chronicles. They're freaking amazing, but I don't know if we're ever going to get the last book because the writer is feeling all this pressure to finish the series the right way, and he's never happy with every draft he's written. So I don't think we're ever going to get the end.
Oh, you're talking about Patrick Rothfussen.
Yes. But, dude, the series is so good. It is so good. It literally changed the way I use Fae in all my games. See,
because of that, that is why I have not read it, because I know I will never get an ending, and that will drive me bonkers.
Read it. You know what? We never got an ending to Firefly, and we love Firefly.
We do have more, so it's not over yet.
Well, now it is, but it wasn't a month ago. That wasn't true.
No, we were content with the comics and everything after Serenity.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, read the books. They're amazing. Yeah.
All right. And so one of the crying shames of adulthood is we do stop asking each other the important questions. And thanks to the generosity of our sponsors, we are bringing that back. And I'm going to ask you, sir, what is your favorite dinosaur?
Velociraptor.
Okay. What is it about the Velociraptor that you like?
Because first of all, I love the way they fucking hunt. And I love the fact that they would take down larger prey all the damn time. There's something about something about the speed and everything behind them that I always like. Something about the Velociraptors always grabbed me. And honestly, that happened because of Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what got me. And I was like, oh, I love them. That, and which is the one that spits poison with I love those.
Oh, man, it's just on the tip of my tongue.
Is it Chimpy or something?
Yes, I love those.
Copy.
Yeah, those are awesome. I love those. Those are great.
All right, I'm looking that up real quick because
Dilophosaurus.
the Dilophosaurus.
Those are
I was
awesome.
thinking
I
of the
love those.
Compassaurus, the Compy. I think I could be getting it wrong.
Yeah, my daughter used to refer to those as death chickens
I mean, she's not wrong.
because I ran a D&D home game for my kids when they were younger, and it completely hooked my kids on D&D, both of them. And there was an encounter where they were fighting like 7 of those, and they hated them. Yeah. So ever since then, they became death chickens. But inside joke.
Dead chickens. I like it.
Yes.
So the Compy was the Compsognathos. I'm butchering it, but that was also a death chicken.
Yes.
A lot of death chickens in the.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, what we understand about dinosaurs, I mean, they basically were feathered, and they, I mean, you know, murder chicken is not wrong.
No, velociraptors are technically giant murder chickens.
Yep.
And we think they might have been feathered.
Yeah.
All right. So Compsognathus.
I can't say that.
That's why we call it
my
Compy.
tongue just trying to say it.
Yep, death chicken.
Yeah, the murder chicken is generic for a lot of dinosaur types. And now I'm picturing like T-Rex running around with feathers quacking.
Yeah,
they all just evolved into the Canadian geese.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the YouTube channel that they released? How they think of a T-Rex?
Oh yes. There's lots of them.
Whoa! It sounds so creepy.
So there's a study of science that's the science of sound. And what they did is they basically looked at the bones of the various dinosaurs and they figured based on this is what it would sound like. They have done the same thing to recreate ancient instruments that we know of, to include the horn you see at the Romans with the dragon spout head at the top.
That's interesting.
They rebuilt one from the image to generate the sound, and it is creepy as all get out even still. And if you imagine like they're not jaded by the modernity and all the sounds we hear plus the movies and content, even still it's creepy. So can you imagine you're raised in the sticks, you don't know anything but the straw hut near you, and then you hear that sound? You must have thought the gods themselves were coming to crush you.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So that is one that aged well. Like I've heard videos of like the rebel yell, and I just didn't find it intimidating. Like knowing who's coming after it, sure, that could be intimidating. But the yell itself never struck fear for me. But I heard that Roman horn, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I might need a moment in the bathroom to change my underwear because that was not
only that, you have to think about, you hear that horn, and then you hear them marching with the armor, and they would march into. It's like, oh, we're dead. We're toast.
Yeah.
And the ground rattling too.
Mm-hmm.
Feet stomping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's only once they get closer. But before that, you'll feel the vibration, almost like an earthquake. If you've ever been near a military base and you've heard a large group of people walking in step, it's the same thing. Now you add to that, there's thousands of them.
Yeah, you could hear when it's a few hundred. You hear it and feel it. I can't imagine a full century moving at once, bro. So
Nick, we've done the thing. We've proven the meme. Somehow it all circles back to Rome.
Yep, every time.
So much for the glory of Rome.
Well, hold on. That's funny. Our fantasy game that's been around for like 20 odd years, Arcanus and World of Shattered Empires, has a Roman-esque nation named Corion.
Nice.
Yep.
We're gonna have to have you back to talk about that property too.
Oh, for sure, dude.
I'm always looking for new content. I guess restart my weekly game.
Nice.
Yeah. What system does this? And then we're gonna move on and talk about your property. But what system does the fantasy one use? Is it a D20 system you made yourself?
It uses 5e with a ton of our own rules, like our own psionic rules and a bunch of other things that we did that I worked up. It's 5e at its core, the old 5e, not the new 5e, but it has like a ton of stuff that we added to it and grew out of it. So, I like the base 5e system. It's easy. It runs fast. It whoever came up with advantage and disadvantage, I hope they freaking got a raise because it's such a simple mechanic. Roll 2d20, take the highest, take the lowest. Done. I love that. It's simple. New players pick it up like that. It's great.
I don't know. Maybe because it's I played my first couple of games was 3.5, and then I tried 5e and it was too confusing. And maybe it was just the person teaching me. And then I went and I did the old school authors playing old school D&D. I think was the name of the podcast we used to do back in the day. But that went to 2e, and that was so simple. Like comparatively, I found I just picked it up really easy. Thaco wasn't that hard.
Yeah, no, 2e is easy. And the funny thing about Thaco, either you get it or you don't, but everybody gets it sooner or later. And my home games, way back in the day, we called it the Thaco moment, when suddenly you would see the light bulb go off and somebody, and they get it finally. But yeah, dude, I loved second edition. I ran a multiple year campaign in second edition. For sure.
So for me, that's just easier. But I tend, that's why I like the OSR stuff. But the Thaco, by the time I started playing, there were all these tables, so you didn't even have to think. You just
they have full tables.
Yeah.
Actually, a friend of mine made a wheel.
Oh, I've seen that too.
Yeah, a friend of mine made a wheel for it, and then he made a wheel, and then they had a wheel in Dragon Magazine that you could cut out. And before I knew it, everybody at my table had the damn wheel. So,
yeah, I actually have somewhere I acquired. I don't even remember how. All of the Dragon magazines digitized.
Yep, I have them too.
Yeah.
They sold them. They sold them on CDs.
Yes.
For a while. Yeah, and I have the full CD set up on my shelf, but I have it on my Surface on my computer also. But yeah, they sold them. They had them all, PDFs of all of them. But yeah,
I really need to convert that because modern computers don't tend to have a lot of CD drives anymore.
Nope.
I might have to put them on a USB stick.
That's what I did. I literally burned them all. I ripped them all and threw them on I have a little server, file server. I literally threw them all on my file server. And even to this day, I'll go on there to read old articles for ideas. And just when I come up with ideas and stuff. Actually, the funny thing is, the Arcanist I was telling you about, we actually had an article in Dragon Magazine. I'm being attacked by my pitbull. I warned you. This is my baby Mocha, and she comes over for me to remind her how much I love her every once in a while.
Oh,
Pitbulls
can be adorable. I had one in high school.
She is. We got her as a puppy, and I am now. Pitbulls are now my favorite breed, hands down. She's smart. She's super loving. You want to go outside? Yeah, give me a second. I'll be right back.
All right. While he's doing that, because I don't want to have to edit this since we're airing it today. How has your comic book drawing been going?
It's going pretty good. I can't complain. We're taking some characters kind of back to formula and trying to streamline the story and make it so it's not like one of our other characters, but a female version. So trying to give it a little bit more of an identity. And we're taking a lot of inspiration from Bubblegum Crisis.
Oh, dude, I loved Bubblegum Crisis. That's one of my favorite animes.
Yeah, so is the writer, and he's like, "Hey, you need to watch Bubblegum Crisis." So I watch it. I'm like, "Oh man, I really like how they suit up."
Yep.
Know? I'm like, "Okay, so these characters are gonna have a soft suit and a hard suit."
So one of the super fans of the show, who's also reads my stuff, sent me Girls with Panzers or Girls with Tanks, something like that I'm supposed to watch. It's like Stargate meets Hot Girls and Tanks, is my understanding. that I have to watch.
Is it akin to Iron Sky?
Let me see if I can find it. But yeah, it looks pretty interesting, so I'm going to check that out. I know I saved it somewhere, but yeah, it's one of those ones. that it's on my list to watch. So I've been looking because I love Stargate and I love the concept. So I was kind of exploring what else might be out there for that kind of vibe, like walking through the portals.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So
portal fiction.
yeah, I like that. I mean, I like the portal fiction, and I like the ability to like every world's different now because the portal fiction is a thing.
Mhm.
So it speaks to me. But it'll come to my head, and I'll remember the name of this freaking show as soon as we log off, because that's just the way my brain works.
That whole thing started because of gaming systems, which is essentially a portal to another world.
Yeah.
And probably
So anyway,
gaming. Anyway,
we will move on because my brain is mush, and I don't want to kill myself trying to find the dang thing.
Fair enough.
So instead, we are going to pause for a moment while we shamelessly show for the man, and that man happens to be Mr. Pedro, the Stat Monkey. Otherwise, we're just going to start talking about his Kickstarter because that's what we're here for.
Yep.
So before I air the video that leaks into the Kickstarter itself, what was the inspiration for the way you envisioned your superheroes? Because there's lots of takes on superheroes out there. Nick could probably name all billion of them. But what was the inspiration for your particular interpretation for this universe?
Okay, so the entire thing, at Paradigm Concepts, every year we have a meeting at Fuddruckers where we talk about everything for the last year and we start throwing ideas at each other for different games. So we were talking about doing a zombie game, a zombie survival game, and then Jimmy was like, what about a superhero zombie survivor game? And then I was like, what if they're all the sidekicks? And that it was done. It was done. And at that point, we're all like, okay, we're publishing this. The idea was that all the big superheroes got Z'd, and you're all that's left. Like, you're not powerful enough to save the world, but you might be powerful enough to save what's left. That's the pitch.
So I did a quick search through my message history to get it. It's called Girls und Panzer. And it is Girls and Panzers, and that's essentially, and there's gates involved.
Girls und Panzer, ja, das ist exciting. Das ist ausgezeichnet. He's wonderful.
But it's like an anime take on some of those properties. So it's got some of the tropes from all of the above involved.
Nice.
And of course, it's better with Nick's German accent.
Of course.
Anyway, we can talk about that later because once I start watching them, I might start to do an episode on that franchise. So we're gonna pause where we're gonna show you the video that's on his Kickstarter, and then we're gonna launch into the Kickstarter itself, talking about it. So we're gonna show that video for you, dear listener. All right. So is the second bite part of the title implying zombies?
The second bite is implying zombies, yes, but it's also second edition. We have this thing in Paradigm that we never name our books first edition, second edition, third edition ever. It's like we have Arcanus 5th edition, and then we have Arcanus 5th edition, the Runic edition. Actually, Arcanus 5e Runic edition. So with Rotting Capes, instead of going second edition, we called it Second Bite.
Nice.
It's our weirdness.
No,
Okay.
I think it's a really good naming convention because it's kind of fresh.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
most people don't do that.
So this is Kickstarter that's running now. As the day we're recording it, it's got 18 days left. So when you listen to it tomorrow, when we upload it, it'll have 17 days left. It's roughly 2/3 of the way to its goal of 15,000.
Mm-hmm.
So first, we're gonna look at some of the art, so you can kind of see what you're getting. This is one of the captures. from the game. So you're just looking at some of the art. I had to zoom in because it was a long image with all of the stuff that comes with the Kickstarter, and I just wanted to show the art itself. This is one of the superheroes. It looks kind of like Iron Man meets the Meteor guy from the game from the 80s that I played. Meteor Man, Is that it?
No, Metroid.
Metroid, there we go.
Yeah.
That's the vibes I'm getting from this image, which I thought was kind of cool. And then this is one of the other superheroes in this universe, just so you can get a kind of a feel of the art you're going to get in this book. Nick, do you approve of the art as our resident artiste?
Yes, I approve of the art.
So what do you think? What do you think of the cover? Our little homage to Days of Future Past.
I dug that. That's the first thing I saw on the back. Instead of the X's, it was the Z's, and you kind of like see, there's Kitty Pryde-ish in that universe. Yep. Okay, cool.
And those 3 slots, they were given up on Kickstarter, already taken. Basically, you get to create a hero that's put in those, and you get to judge if they're Z'd or not. So,
ooh, that's fun.
Yeah. Yep.
That is cool. That is a fun thing about a Kickstarter is some of the perks you can buy into to include the ability to be redshirted. But so first off, let's talk about the universe, and then we'll go into what the Kickstarter covers and what the benefits are. Because before we sell people on the Kickstarter, we got to sell them on the Rotted Cape. So,
of course,
in a nutshell, what is the Rotted Cape universe?
So it is 2 years after Z-Day. All the big name superheroes have been Z'd. Not all of them are Super Z's. Super Z's only happen if a demigod or a super wow, my brain just went blank at the worst time. So if you make a powered individual or a alien and you get bit, you could turn into a Super Z. Anything else, you're either a deadhead or you're just dead. Deadhead is what we call just normal zombies. The way the world is that right now there's all these little enclaves of survivors. Some of them have superheroes protecting them, some of them don't. But superheroes have kind of become a symbol of hope for these enclaves. They're not only seen as, oh, you're protecting us, they're seen as a symbol of the world before. So the game kind of has like these 2 sides to it where, yeah, you go out and you punch zombies and you play the superhero game. But then in the enclave, you have a whole different type of game. You have, so at the end of character creation, everybody gets to make 2 survivors that are personally connected to their character. So once everybody's made their characters, you have a bunch of NPCs that matter. So you have like these 2 stories. You have the superheroics, and then you have the storytelling of the survivors and what they're going through, and you're trying to protect them and their interests and stuff like that. So the world itself is kind of generic. We wanted you to be able to drop it in any city. In the fast play rules, I flat out tell the game master, use your hometown. Drop the players in your hometown. Like when I run my Rotted Capes game, I usually either run in Miami where I live, or right now I'm running a campaign in the Keys where I used to go to all the time. So it's the game is made in a way that you could just drop it in any city that you're playing, and just tell stories from that point on. We try to keep it where the GM has a lot of freedom. We do have some story elements to it, like we have zombies, we have super zombies, we have something called abominations, which are humans with a recessive alpha gene that get bitten. They mutate, and they could be anything from Resident Evil. You imagine it, you could drop it in this game. So you could play, straight up zombies. You could play freaking Resident Evil with superheroes if you want to. Or you could tell some crazy stories. Like there was some fans of ours that in the first edition, they were playing in France, where all the humans were living in the catacombs, because all the vampires said, "Oh shit, we'll protect you as long as we can feed on you every once in a while."
That's a twist.
So all the heroes were vampires.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty creative, though.
Yeah, bro. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. So yeah, so you could do a lot with the game. The rules are there really to support everything that you could tell in this game. Threat creation is really flexible, so you could create almost anything you want. So that's the setting. The setting is the idea, but then it's really left up to the players and the editor in chief, what we call the GM, to create the story they want to tell. Because the way the game works, you could play campy. You could just play campy, punch the zombies. You could play it as a hardcore survival game, or you could play it as a straight up horror game. Heck, the streaming game that I'm running, the last episode was straight up horror. Just straight up horror. But you could play it the way you want. You could tell a lot of interesting stories in the game.
I think that's pretty cool. It's like dealer's choice of where you want to go with it.
Exactly. And the cool thing is you could actually switch up. You could be playing campy and go straight into horrific. I did that during my first home game, playtesting the new system, where they were playing happy-go-lucky, we're superheroes, we could beat up zombies all day, and within one episode, it turned into like super creepy, super horrific, almost Cthulhu-esque horror, and it totally worked. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep.
JR, are you there?
Did we lose him?
I muted myself because the dog was barking and I forgot to undo it. Is there ability for people that want kind of thematic things with games where they could wind the clock back? So instead of it being, Miami in 2026, it could be, 1980, 1780 or whatever.
Yeah, you could play anything like that. The game is really generic enough as far as the rules that you could do it. You might have to modify like your equipment is the only thing I could think of. Like you could play, Golden Year superhero zombie apocalypse, right? But then, you have like 60s, 70s technology, which is fine. You just have to change out the go bags because when you make your character at the end, during the end, you get to pick a go bag, which has a list of equipment and one melee weapon of your choice and one range weapon of your choice.
So it's generic, but it still takes into it and by the way, dear listener, when we're talking generic with games, if you're not a gamer, that's not a bad thing. That allows for a lot of personalization at the table, which is fun. But so you're saying that the technology is so modern that if they're going to, reskin it to the past for funsies, they're going to have to adjust for that.
Yeah, it's not that hard to do it. To be honest, it'll probably make the equipment choices easier, for God's sakes. But yeah, you can easily do that. You can easily and you can even play this as a modern superhero game with no zombies. It plays just fine that way too.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, instead of the zombies, like how is it set up? If you're going to play with no zombies and it's kind of a zombie-based game, who's the bad guy? You just put
you could when you make threats, right? You could build threats. Like in the book, we actually have super villains who have basically taken over enclaves and they act like a tyrant.
Okay.
And you might fight them because a lot of the times zombies aren't your biggest problem. It's another enclave that wants your stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So no, the thing is the way threats are not built like characters at all.
Okay.
You could build a threat in like 5 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah. So one of the things I did in second edition, I went and I basically interviewed a bunch of the players of the first edition, and I kept asking them, what are the pain points of the system? And I specifically targeted those pain points. One of them was threat creation. The other one was character creation. So I completely reimagined character creation. It's a lot simpler now. It's still as flexible as before. And threat creation, I completely redesigned it from the ground up to make it simple and very, very flexible for the GM to create anything they want.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
So for the gameplay itself, like there's several ways that people, do gaming. There's got theater of the mind where you're all picturing it with the tabletop minis and the figures that you're moving across a hex grid or whatever. So what kind of system is the Rotted Capes? Is it minis and maps? Is it theater of the mind? Something in between?
It supports both. The way I did movement, I don't know if you guys remember this. Do you remember the Face Rip Marvel game?
No, but I've never been into superheroes till I met Nick.
Okay.
So I had to
So
learn.
Face Rip, instead of using squares, used big areas. And that kind of inspired me. So the movement in the game is areas. So if you're inside a house, each going to a room might be 3 areas. I go into the living room, into the hallway, into the kitchen. That's 3 areas. Outdoors in a big place, areas are 20 by 20 squares on average. And I have in the game, if you want to use a grid, that's fine. Divide all the areas by 4. So if you can move 2 areas, you can move 8 squares. Done. So I support both because I have friends of mine that love playing with minis, and I have friends of mine that love theater of the mind, and I supported both in the game.
Yeah, so it's
Okay, so is the system designed around one as a preference and the other as an adaptation, or was it intentionally designed to accommodate both easy peasy?
It's designed to accommodate both easy peasy.
Okay.
Because like when I design maps for the game, I do them in areas already. So moving your mini area to area is easy. Like if you have a floor plan for a house and you're like, I want to move my mini to the living room. Oh, that's 3 areas away. Blah, blah, blah. You're done.
So is this game, because some people obviously, with the difficulty sometimes in finding a table, people have moved their gaming online.
Yep.
And so as such, you've got virtual tabletops that come around. I am not tech savvy, so I prefer just to do it in person where I can scream at you and you can smell, the Cheeto dust and all the cool, right? It's the vibes. Jokes aside. Right,
dude,
right.
I built my own gaming table with a 42-inch TV in it.
Oh, cool. Oh, girl. If we sign up for your like website and bookmark it or whatever, can we see pictures of it?
Of course, dude. I'll send you pictures of it.
I definitely want to see that. That is kind of cool.
AKA
actually, somebody like 3 people have told me I need to do a blog post about it.
I would definitely read that. That is cool.
I taught myself carpentry to build it.
This is the way.
So, yeah, because I wanted to do it, so I taught myself how to do it. So, yeah, and it wasn't that hard. I made it harder because I kept adding things to it. Like it plugs into the wall. It has receptacles all the way around that are plugs with USB ports. So everybody could plug all their laptops and phones and everything into it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And when it's not in use, it covers up and it's our dining room table. And it's basically the charge station for the family.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm color me interested. So yeah, do that on the website. So does this game easily allow for people to use virtual tabletops to play?
Yes. And actually we have 2 VVTs who are going to support the game. One had a very successful Kickstart, Fabled. And the other one, Hedron, is also going to be supporting us.
No, nice.
Cool.
So you could go to them, and they're going to have the game up there. I am talking to somebody about doing a module for us for the game for I forgot which one of the, not Roll20. I forgot. It's the other one that's super super popular right now. Which one was it? I can't remember now. But somebody approached me. Oh, Foundry. Somebody approached me about making a module for Foundry. So we might be on Foundry also, but I can't promise it because what I understand about Foundry is very hard to program for, and every time they put out an update, they might break your game. So I don't know about them, but we will be supported on Fabled and on Hedron.
Cool. So if that means anything to you and you are a virtual tabletop gamer, you know there are options out there for you. So sometimes games are one-off and it's just this is a one-shot kind of thing. Is this a one-shot game, or is this a kind of world that is going to have spin-off modules and
for example, at Origins Game Fair, we're going to have 2 adventures that I'm writing. One's called Lab Rats, and the other one's called The Broken Tower. Once after Origins, they're going to go up on RPG now. We are also looking at our expansion books that we're going to do. Each book is going to focus on a different origin. Origins are kind of like how you get your powers. You could be a superhuman, an alien, an android. There's a list of them, right? We're going to do a book based off each one. And each of those books are going to have 3 adventures that tie into that origin. Like for the Android one, we're going to do an Age of Ultron homage. So that's the idea behind it. But yeah, we're going to have adventures and stuff coming out for it. I intend to write adventures. I'm always at Gen Con and Origins, so I'm always going to have new adventures coming out for Gen Con and Origins, and they're going to be up on the website. And I know we had some fans that were writing their own adventures, and they're probably going to want to write them again. And we have a bunch of older adventures that we are going to convert to the new system, like mind games and stuff like that.
So it's not a system that once this is done, you're going to abandon and people are going to...
God, no. No. I'm not abandoning this one. I put too much of my life into this one. I've been writing it. I've been doing the second edition for about 2 years now. Playtesting it, fixing it, playtesting it, redoing it. I went through this mode last year at Origins where I had this epiphany and I ended up rewriting huge swaths of it. And I ended up being much happier with it after I was done.
Workaholic is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I'm definitely a workaholic.
Dedicated, JR. Dedicated.
Bro, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I get my English is not my okay. English is my first language.
Yeah, but I'm definitely workaholic. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I am. And when I get an idea, it's like it just comes out. It's my ADHD. When I focus on one thing and I have an idea, it's literally I don't stop.
Okay.
I'm like that too. Yep. So is my wife. We were both touched by the tism, my lord.
Yes.
Before we move on to the Kickstarter itself, Nick, you are our superhero guru. Do you have questions for him about the universe before we move on?
No, it sounds like he's got his bases covered as far as like hero origin. He's got like the big ones. So you got what did they call it in Winter Soldier and Falcon? Like the 3
Falcon, yeah.
The 3 R's or something like that. It's like robots, aliens, and wizards.
Okay.
He's a sorcerer. No, he's a wizard. He has a hat.
It's like I've read
just to let you know, so these are the origins we have. We have alien, android, cosmic, demigod, mystic, superhuman, supernatural, and techno hero.
What is supernatural? That would be like fairies and fae and such?
Or vampires or werewolves.
Vampires, lichen, fae.
Or another example of a supernatural, Blade.
Okay. So
Yeah.
would the supernatural be immune to the Z virus, the zombie effect, whatever you're calling it?
No, if they bite you, you turn into a normal deadhead.
Okay.
The zombie virus is incredibly deadly. You get bit, there's a good 50-50 chance you're losing your character. It's not a joke.
So do you have an origin for this virus in your universe?
Well, we hint. Okay, internally, we know what it is. Externally, in the story, we leave it generalized enough that you could go anywhere you want with it. We might publish an adventure that tells our story, but that story isn't your story.
So what I like the way you nuance that because you don't want to railroad your players, but
exactly
along the lines of like the early Walking Dead, where the quest was to get to the CDC before the show went off the rails.
Yeah,
something along those lines, right? Where you can like kind of figure stuff out.
Oh, of course, yeah. Well, it depends on the editor and how he wants to tell the story. There's in the who was it? It was a few players of mine in Australia were playing the first edition, and in their story, the entire thing was magical because somebody opened a freaking tomb in Egypt that was sealed off for a reason, and it started the zombie apocalypse. And that was when they found out, and they ended up their campaign with closing the tomb and basically doing what they had to do, and all the deadheads in the world just collapsed.
I mean, they did warn you about, robbing the dead. And if you're going to go that route, make it the English that robbed it, because they're a museum. They steal lots of stuff.
That's true.
And you could always go with Kirkman's original idea, or the pitch that he sold to Image to get him to get on board with The Walking Dead, was that the zombies was just a preemptive attack from an alien species.
Yep.
And they got like 2 years in, and his publisher's like, "Hey man, we've been reading this for like 2 years. Where's the aliens?" He's like, "What? What are you talking about?" It's like, "The aliens. You said it was like an alien invasion. This was a precursor." He's like, "No, I just told you guys that so you'd be sold on the book. There's no aliens."
Of course, by that point, they're making enough money they didn't care.
By that time, the issue 0, the black and white issue 1 are already worth $25,000.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to sell a kidney to get one of those, maybe both.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need those, right? You could just hook yourself.
No, you can live without those.
They got machines for that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So with that out of the way, do you what is the game stuff that you're going to get with this Kickstarter? So if somebody backs this Kickstarter, what are the potential perks that they're going to be getting?
Well, right now you're going to get the core book. The core book is going to have everything you need to play. For the GM, the player, everything's in there. You don't need anything else. We are about to put up as an add-on a DM screen, because we were getting DM screens printed is a nightmare. But we finally got a really good supplier. They sent me samples, superb. So we're gonna have those up also that you'll be able to get. And we're gonna have that you could buy the package to play on Fabled or on Hedron. We're gonna have those going up soon. But right now, you just get the main book, unless you get the special edition, which is going to be a red. What we're looking at doing is like a red leather, and it's going to have like the zombie. We had the one that had at the beginning of the video, that screaming zombie face is going to be on it in silver with the logo on top.
This one?
No. In the video, there was like the screaming zombie at the very beginning of the video.
Oh, the video. Yeah.
Yeah, that one. I love that piece. Absolutely love that piece. Unfortunately, the artist is no longer with us, which fucking sucks. He was awesome. I loved working with him.
I was just about to ask who did the art, because it's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, we have a bunch of different artists. But that one screaming zombie head, that he's no longer with us. But
who did the cover?
We're going to use that piece of art for the special edition. And I think we have 2 seats left. Maybe 2 seats. I don't know. They may all be gone by now. I need to check. I'm running a special table for people, and you can buy your way into that. But the create your own character, those already sold off, and putting your character on the cover, those are gone also.
Yeah, I noticed that when I was going through the all the tiers, all the rewards.
Yeah, the
like,
ones
yeah,
on the
that's what I would
cover,
like to
those
get
went
into.
fast. The ones
Oh,
for the cover went fast. I was shocked how fast they went.
Oh yeah,
But
chance to get
yeah,
immortalized
that's what you're
in
gonna get the
comic
book.
form.
And by the way, this book is not going to be small. This is going to be a thick baby. So it has a lot. It has everything. It has rules for building and maintaining the enclave. Because like I said, the game has two sides to it. One thing about the enclave is that you could invest in your enclave, and your enclave has basically stats that are not told to the players. And if you ignore different things about your enclave, those ability scores go down, and then things start happening. Like people argue more often. Maybe there's not enough food because you weren't paying attention to that. So, like I said, there's like those two sections to the game. So we have the rules for an enclave. We have over 100 powers because it's a superhero game. And everything you need, like the running the game section has a lot of optional rules also that I call brutal continuity. So if you want to ramp up the difficulty, you can. And then we have the entire section, which is like the world of rotted capes, which gives you a generic world to drop your players into. I have a bunch of examples of different enclaves. So if you don't want to make one, you can just grab one of the ones we have and just play with that one. So.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of games are broken down into 3 core books.
Yep.
Player's handbook, which is everything they need at their user level. The DM book, which is the stuff that you don't necessarily want the players to see, and then the bestiary, which I don't know that you would necessarily need for a game like this.
No. Well, we're gonna have, it's called the archive in the back. It's gonna be in the back. It's gonna be in the back book, and it's gonna have a bunch of heroes and villains and abominations that you could use.
But is this going to all be as one core book together, or are you going to separate?
one thick core book. You get everything. You don't have to buy multiple books to play the game. One thing we are going to be putting out, because we used to do it in the old system, and I really liked it, and I'm going to start doing it again. We had these things called threat dossiers that we would introduce a villain and a bunch of story ideas for it.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. So, and they're little PDFs, they're going to be like $5 or something, but they'll give you like a threat and a bunch of story ideas. A threat and a bunch of story ideas. So I definitely want to start doing those again.
Okay. So there's no way to separate it out so you don't have the players cheating?
Well, there is. You could always use a knife.
Okay, that is probably not good for the health of the book.
Another thing you could do is if you have the PDF, you could always separate parts of the PDF and give your players just the player parts.
So you do have the PDF that you can get as well with the physical copy?
Yeah, for sure. Actually, if you buy the book, you get the PDF for free with it, or you can just buy the PDF. But honestly, the way the game is, even if they know how to, the monsters, it doesn't really help them.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not like D&D. Oh, I know the way that the beholder works. It does not help you in this game at all.
Okay. Are there any? I know you sold a lot of the perks you were talking about with the ability to, write into some characters for the universe. I understand all of those are gone at the moment. So at this point, in addition to the physical copy and the PDF copy, if you choose, is there merch you can get when you back this Kickstarter?
No, we don't have any merch. Though I made this bomb logo for Rotted Tropics for the stream I'm doing, and I've actually gotten requests for a shirt for it. So I'm probably going to do a Rotted Tropics shirt, but that's later because that logo came out beautifully.
Not that you're biased or anything.
Dude, when I made the logo in Photoshop, I actually sat back and I was like, damn.
I love it when that happens. You're like, man,
I'm like, wow, that came out good. So yeah. But I'm very happy. We don't have any merch for the game. We're just selling the book. You get what you get, you play with it, and you go from there.
Okay. You get what you get. That ought to be your motto. Get what you get.
You get what you get, and you don't. Actually, it's funny. My sister-in-law and her husband would always tell the kids, "You get what you get, and you don't get upset." So it stuck with me.
It works, especially if you've got you get the right kind of table.
Yeah, but honestly, Rotted Capes, you don't need a lot to play it. If you look at the fast play rules, I have the characters. I have the basic rules of the game and a little adventure. That's all you need to play. If you want to make your own characters and stuff, of course you need all the rules. But the game doesn't need a shit ton of books to run. Though we do have a bunch of plans for future books. Like I said, the origin books, we have some awesome ideas for them. So those coming down the pipe. Henry is actually writing 3 adventures right now. The first one takes place before Z-Day. The second adventure takes place during Z-Day, and the last adventure takes place a year after. And they basically line everything up to like set you off for your own enclave at the end. So it kind of works as an origin story.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one of the things, because we talked about the game, we talked about the rules, what you can get with the Kickstarter. It's got 17 more days as you're listening to this. Does this, well, obviously we mentioned that you sell stuff on Amazon, so we know it's going to be available. If the Kickstarter gets backed and you don't catch it in time, there will be options later to get it.
Although, you'll be able to buy it off our webpage also.
Right. And so obviously urgency matters because they got, $4,500 to get across the finish line. Having said that, one of the things that makes these various games fun and can sometimes be a barrier to entry is the community, right? So like if you pick up, I don't know, Troll Lord Games and you don't understand their system, you might be floundering, but they've got a thriving Discord channel and Facebook page. You join those, and I'm using that as an example because I know them. You go in there and you get all the help from all the other great people playing the game. So Frog Lord Games has one.
We have a Discord too.
No, I'm not talking just Discord. I'm just saying, do you have a community that allows them to engage with other players, the
Arcanist community is pretty active. Rotted Capes, we had a little community and it kind of like died out because first edition was like, Jesus, 9 years ago? And but I'm going, well, first of all, I'm very accessible and I love answering questions. So if you reach out to me and you're like, Pete, I don't understand this rule, I'll answer it. I'm going to have errata and stuff up on my webpage and on Paradigm stuff all the time. But as far as the community, I know people that love this game and will be all over it. And hopefully once the ball gets rolling and we have stuff coming out for it and the adventures and stuff like this, the community will start to grow more. But I know a bunch of our backers and they're super friendly. So I'm pretty damn sure that if you come into this game, you'll find people to like help you with the rules and stuff. And like I said, I'm always available and I love answering questions. So
there's enough people playing it that if you don't find the online community to give you, start one and he'll be happy. And so that answers that question. Now, some franchises, when they've got new systems, they have created how-to like YouTube channels where they will like walk you through the various Warhammer's famous for them. Like, this is how you do it. Is that something you guys as Paradigm Concept?
I already started on my webpage, awesome. On my Stat Monkey Presents. I have a video that's this is the overall system. I have a second video that goes through character creation. I have another video that's going to come out talking about skill sets that I need to finish editing. And then I have a combat video I'm going to be putting out also. But once you get the mechanic is very easy. I based it off D20 because it's a simple mechanic. Roll D20, add numbers to hit a target number. Easy peasy. The skill system, I had this epiphany, and I got rid of the complex skill list. Instead, you have something called a skill set, which is a statement that you write that describes your skill set. For example, masked detective, or ex-military operative, or playboy, billionaire playboy philanthropist. And during the game, when something happens in the scene, you sell to the editor-in-chief how you can apply your skill set to the role. And then you say, I want to use it with whatever ability score. If the editor says that's a great idea, you roll D20, you add those two numbers together to hit your target number. Done. And it encourages you to think.
I'd like to play that as like a, what's the word I was looking for? A depressed government employee as a skill set.
You could definitely do that. And
I don't know how to do it, but it would sound fun.
The cool thing about it is that you're kind of describing your character before Z-Day, and now your background has a direct mechanical advantage in the game. It comes into play. It's not like, oh, I have this background, but it really doesn't represent anything I could do today. No, it is what you do. I describe it as it's the type of chaos that you know how to operate in because you're used to it. Yeah. And you could have some very fantastic skill sets. Like one I describe in the game is I've seen empires rise and fall. Because you're playing, for example, maybe you're playing a demigod who's been alive for 1,000 years.
Yeah, you definitely see some stuff.
Exactly. So I've seen empires rise and fall. And I have one person in my home game, and not my home game, my streaming game, and that's come up like a dozen times already. And it's always great when it comes up. So the game is really easy to pick up. It has the basic mechanics are easy. It has a little bit of tactical depth. It really encourages out of the box thinking. Because like there's a mechanic in it called power tricks, where you develop different ways to use your power in game, and once you finish a certain number of attempts, you can then take a talent to learn it permanently. So it's not like your character went up in level and suddenly you have all these abilities you didn't have before. No, you have to build those abilities during the game.
Okay.
Cyclops didn't know how to bounce his shots off a wall day one. He learned.
Okay, so it sounds like the cool thing, which a lot of people ignore, is who you are before, of course, and everyone wants to make themselves super badass, right? Like super secret special squirrel, Delta sniper ranger guy.
You know, right? you would think that, but like the games I run, like I have ex-electrician. Ex-electrician. Oh, the coolest fucking one. There's a guy that's playing a skill-based hero. He was a hitman that would go after supers. His skill set is cape hunter.
Nick's he's like, I've got to kill that guy now. He's my arch nemesis.
Bro, but because the way the skill set thing works, you could tell such cool stories in a sentence. And now they're part of the game, and you're using them in the game. Like, they found a super zombie, and he's like, do I know this guy? Have I heard of this guy? I'm like, you know what? Roll. Yes, you've heard of Falling Star. And I gave him the background. He's like, oh, guys, this is bad. We got to go.
So I'm just thinking, like, you've got the barista who that was how he was paying through school, and now he's just sad because he can't make his super special macchiato with all the fancy art on the top, or
but when he finds a bag of beans,
or the tweaker who just wants to find his next hit of meth, and he's just upset that the world came and ruined his high.
Oh, but hold on for that. because of course it's a superhero game, you could design a weakness for your character.
Okay.
So you can have addiction, and the way weaknesses work is they give you bonus talents and stuff. But if you so there's a mechanic in the game called plot points. Plot points, you could spend it to reroll a die roll. That's boring. You could also spend them to help rewrite part of a scene. So, for example, there was a fight that I had on top of a tower here in Miami, and this guy punched one of the heroes off the building. And I'm like, "Oh well, you're dead." He goes, "No, I'm spending a plot point." I go, "Okay," and he goes, "Off the side where I got thrown off, there's a platform for window cleaners."
Oh,
and I landed it, and I was like, "Well done." Another one that I loved. This one, the guy that played the electrician, and this was a random game at Origins like 2 years ago. I described this this game where there were survivors stuck in a mall, of course, Night of the Living Dead, and there were all these deadheads all around, right? He goes, "Guys, we don't have to fight these guys." And I'm like, "Why?" And he hands me a plot point. He's like, "I used to work on this mall. I know where the access tunnel is."
Okay.
Genius.
You get to rewrite part of the scene. And it's cool because people tell really good stories doing that. But the way you get plot points is by leaning into your flaws to your detriment.
It sounds like some games, they're key to what makes them really awesome is that they allow creativity around the rules by the DM. It sounds like you gave some of that power to the players as well.
Exactly. I want the players to, because I noticed when players are also telling the story, they get more invested. And also a lot of game systems kind of ignore your flaws, or they don't even have flaws. This game rewards you for leaning into your flaws at your detriment. Like, I have a speedster that has impatient and lone wolf.
Okay.
I cannot tell you how many times that speedster has gotten the entire party in trouble, but it's awesome. And you lean into your flaws to tell a story, but you get rewarded for it. And then you can use that later to tell the story. It just creates this loop that's fantastic.
All right. So we want to get this out to the presses because I'm already sold. It sounds like a fun game. So Nick, do you have any questions? Because you're my superhero go-to guy.
No, he's got his X's and Y's and T's slashed and I's dotted. Like he's got it covered, man.
So if you were going to import one of Apogee's, if you're importing one of Apogee's superheroes into this world, which are you picking?
Just one.
What?
Apogee's his comic book company.
Yeah, pick one.
Which one are you porting over?
Who would I have the most fun with?
I'm thinking that speedster with the impatience.
Oh, Quickwire, yeah, out of Dallas.
Actually, the funny thing is, I have the beginnings of a script for a comic book in Roddy Capes.
Nice.
Yeah, I've been playing around with it because I don't know how to write a comic book, but I have been a fan of comic books since Jim Lee's X-Men run way back in the day. And I've been a fan. I don't read comic books anymore because I don't have time, but I listen to Comics Explained on YouTube all the time. So I keep up with the stories. Dude, he's awesome. I love him. And he gets so excited when he tells it, which makes me excited. Yeah. But I still keep up on comic books thanks to him. But yeah, I've been writing a comic book for Roddy Capes because I was like, you know what? I have some stories in my head. So I don't know. Someday I might put them out. Someday I might get them. I don't know.
Well,
we'll see.
The cool thing is you now know a guy who runs a comic book company. He might.
Yeah, I do. Now I have to talk to you. But yeah, actually, we should talk. That would be awesome.
This is the part, dear listener, where I remind you to please be kind and speak your mind on the reviewing platforms. Your reviews help the right readers find the right books. If this is something up your alley, go back it. It makes a difference. His books are when they're not in Kickstarter for sale on Amazon. You can review them there. You can review them on Drive-Thru-RPG where they're also for sale. You can leave reviews on the Kickstarter itself, which doesn't help for this one, but future Kickstarters, people can look at his profile and see all of the reviews of satisfied
be awesome.
customers. It does help future Kickstarters. And so with that, if you want to join the discussion, we'd appreciate that too. I will make sure Pedro sees all of those. So that way, if you got questions for him directly, or you can use the social media links in the show notes. But any closing thoughts, Pedro, that we should go over before we wrap this puppy?
No, dude, this was a blast. We need to do this again.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I do it when Nick is here because he's my go-to for superheroes. So where can people find you on the wild interwebs? And as usual, all of the links will be in the show notes.
You can find me on Blue Sky, Stat Monkey, on YouTube and Twitch, and Rumble now, Stat Monkey Presents. You could also check out my webpage blog, which is thestatmonkey.com. On Instagram, you could also find me as Stat Monkey. And that's pretty much it. You can find me on other ones, but they're not my main gaming ones. If you want to follow my gaming, that's where you go.
And then the company that he runs that puts out the games is called Paradigm Concepts. That is also on social media. We'll link in the show notes. And then specific links for Rotted Capes. The game itself is on Blue Sky in Twitter's independent to post updates as well. And all of that will be in the show notes. And you can find us, dear listener, on our Linktree, linktr.ee, Linktree / Blasters and Blaze Podcast. Again, Linktree / Blasters and Blaze Podcast, where we link to all the things: the BitChute, the Rumble, the YouTube, the TikTok, the Twitter. We've got our Spotify, our Discord, our Substack. We've got our Blasters and Blaze Facebook group and Facebook page. You can email us at blastersandblazepodcast@gmail.com. Again, blastersandblazepodcast@gmail.com for professional purposes only, people. Save the shenanigans from Stabby Stab over there on the Instagram, Twitter, and the email, but not too much, because then she might actually stab Nick, and he's only got so much blood, so we got to ration that stuff.
Yeah.
And if you want to, you need at least 6 to stay alive, right? She can have 2 of them.
Yeah,
it'll be okay. Walk it off, man. That's got to be a thing in there, like duct tape and walk it off.
Just rub some dirt on it.
Rub some dirt on it. Yeah,
you'll be fine, bro. Yeah, come on, man.
Walk it off.
Have you written that into your game? Those kind of fun concepts, like rub some dirt into it, walk it off.
Yeah.
I'm writing a lit RPG. I got to add that in there if my co-writer will let me. That would be hilarious. All right. And if you want to support the show, go to buymeacoffee.com/author.jrhanley. Again, buymeacoffee.com/author.jrhanley. Be sure to put in the comment section this for the podcast, and I promise I will keep my co-hosts duly caffeinated. They will drink that brand coffee until they get high on their own supply. Man, my puppy's distracted me. If you want some of that brand coffee, the link is in the show notes. The discount code is Podcast Grunts. You get 10% off. We get a little bit of a kickback. Or you can just donate directly. You don't have to buy the coffee. Those are 2 options to support us, and we appreciate all of it. And with that, I would like to thank you for spending some of your precious time with us. For my crazy co-host, I am J.R. Hanley, and this was the Blasters and Blaze Podcast. We'll be back next week at the same time, where we'll indulge our love of nerd culture, cheesy jokes, and all things that go boom. And I actually lied because this is a bonus episode on a Saturday. So technically we won't be back next week on a Saturday, but you knew what we meant.
You don't know.
We might. We've got lots of fun Kickstarter people approaching us to come on the show. And we like to say yes wherever possible. All right. And with that, I'm going to hit the end button. Don't cuss.